This podcast may contain adult themes.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only.
The views and opinions in this podcast are expressly our own.
Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
Is it okay if I kick your boss's ass? That won't affect your workplace chemistry, will it?
All right, who did this? I'm not mad. I just want to know who did it so I can punish them.
When I get to the workplace, I like to fuck shit up.
Welcome to Let's Break Up, Toxic Workplace Stories, hosted by me, Nicola.
And me, Gina, both with many years working in corporate roles. Come along as we interview some awesome guests from around the world about their experiences with toxic workplaces.
Sharing lessons learned and providing safe, supportive place to share their stories with those who might be experiencing similar situations.
Each week, we will provide tips and ways to identify some of the challenges associated with toxic workplaces.
In today's episode,
I think what I was saying before was perfect. Like, basically, I want to thank you for sharing your story because it was, this is like my fourth or fifth time hearing it. And even more, I've gotten even more out of it because it's truly probably very, very clearly how toxic it was. Like, you had people who were inexperienced in positions of power, no accountability. Corners being cut, not knowing when to ask for help, everything. Hiring people because they're your friends, not because they're actually fit the role, which I think is terrible. And you were the one who got swept up in the results of all of that.
I was the whistleblower basically because I wrote in complaints about him that he was putting hands on students and texting them inappropriately at night.
Yeah, so and that's all
happened because he found out, which is illegal, that she even told him.
I just realized that you've got like a stumpy dicked microphone in your picture.
Yeah, and it looks like I'm banging my head.
I know, and I'm gonna.
Ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Oh, I got it. And he was in these track pants, like gray sweatpants, and showed me that he was turned on. He didn't show himself, but he outlined it with his hand, and I was kind of like, where are those sweatpants?
I'm just painting a picture here for.
Wait, he was? That was part of the ensemble?
No, sadly not that day.
Oh God,
this guy. I'm imagining this guy with a bedazzled top hat.
No.
Now he's got a sweater on with his dead nana on the front and his slam poetry embroidered on the back.
Yeah. So
what shoe? Can we go down to the shoes? Because I need a picture of the shoes. Is he tall, short?
He's about 5'11", 6 foot.
Okay.
Always wore Nikes and stuff. He never dressed.
So he wore like streetwear.
Yes.
Because he's got a hard on in his fucking sweatpants.
Exactly.
Those gray sweats. And it's the men that, this is a side note just about gray sweats. The men that you don't want have to be wearing gray sweats are the ones who inevitably wear them.
I know. And then
point it out.
You know what? A good-looking man in a good-looking pair of gray sweatpants, I'm all up in that business.
Right.
Yeah, but they never wear it. The real ones don't wear it.
I'm like, bitches, please. It should be your uniform.
Yes.
I know, but they don't. You get these fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh my God.
Sexual assaulting idiots in positions of power.
Yes. I'm sorry. Really quick. My dog went in my drawer so have you ever ordered from Adam and Eve and they send you a random big sampler of random things? Okay.
What's Adam and Eve?
It's an adult store.
Oh, hey, what did you get, babes?
So in the bag, I didn't open any of it, but I have it in my dresser, and the dog went into it and is now walking around with pink anal beads in her mouth. But it's keeping her quiet, so I'm torn.
That can be the best blooper I think we've ever had. My dog's walking around with pink anal beads.
Everything I love. Pixie, you know what?
I'm glad we started with our disclaimer today of there is adult content in our podcast.
There's a lot.
Used or brand new?
No, brand new. I didn't touch them.
Oh, how disappointing.
They were in the little, they're in the little gift bag thing, these things.
Those are pretty big anal beads.
Wait, let's see. Sorry, I missed out.
These are, I think.
No, those are Ben Wobbles.
They're Ben Wobbles.
Right? Yeah, these aren't them. You know what, Pixie? You stay over there. They match your weird pink fur that you have. So,
I think what I would really enjoy is if we veered off this topic and had you end with another experience really quick and how that worked out for this person because they were effectively scamming a different charter school. Oh my God, it is the fucking best.
She got disability. She said she got COVID, was working for 2 schools at once. The
It's
IRS
insane.
came
And
after her.
you know for a fact, okay, so can we just end on a completely different note, still about a very strange workplace happening that this is one of my all-time favorite stories that Megan, because it's just so insane that Megan had shared with me. And I remember that she was texting me and I remember I was in the gym and the texts were coming through and I stopped everything I was doing at the gym and I was just like, what? So prior to this job that Megan had, she was working at a different charter school and she became really friendly with 2 of her coworkers. And I always told her, I was like, I don't think they're good influences. I don't like them. And like Megan was like, yeah, you're just jealous that I spend time with them. And I think there was a little bit of that because like I'm a Scorpio and we're a little possessive sometimes. But ultimately, I was right. My gut feeling was right. So one of them I used to refer to as Grimace because she resembled Grimace, if anyone knows the old McDonald's character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So she reminded
Grimace.
me of Grimace. So I would be like, what the fuck is Grimace doing right now? And then the other one was just like a fucking hot mess. Like it was a well-known secret that she actually was not sober on the job.
Yeah.
And me, okay, so now we've got non-sober teachers. Am I just getting this
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yes.
at my job before this in the South Bronx.
Right. So completely different. And this isn't really about Megan. It's more about like just how crazy things can be. So Megan, do you want to tell them the story that I'm referring to that I remember when you were texting me as it was happening and I was just like, how is this even real? Because so this woman is contacting Megan after she went through a personally difficult time period and they were completely unhelpful, but yet they were her friends. They didn't really support her. And they hadn't talked for a long time. And she gets back in contact with Megan under the guise of, hey, can you get me a job?
Mhm.
Okay.
Go ahead, Meg.
So let me set the stage of A. Let's call her A. Actually, she goes by Miss A, so whatever. So Miss A would bring a little mason jar to school and like, one of the ones you could drink out of. And her trick was, if it's white wine with ice, it looks watered down anyway. It just looks like water or seltzer that I'm drinking. And she lived around the corner from the school. So every break she had, which was pretty often, she'd go to her, freezer and like take out or fridge and take out wine and redo. Now, granted, it was not a small store. It was this. You go through one jumbo thing of, I don't know, Arbor Mist like a day. She was always drinking. And then she would like eat pickles and like touch her feet after. The kids all knew. And it was so weird. So she was already like a disgusting human being. But
I don't know if Grimace was
here?
so she got one of those bags though. She got one of those purses that you could find online at like a joke, gift, but she used it like actually. And it was a purse where at the bottom you could lay your bag of wine. You know how you get boxed wine, how the bag's inside? It was
Yes, Bish. I feel like we all need this bag.
Yes. So she got that for herself and then would have her wine in there and refill her mason jar at work.
At school.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the person who doesn't support Megan during a period of time that something personal happened, and it was a tough time for her. And months go by, and how does she get back in touch with you, like randomly via text, right?
Texted me and was like, "Hey," and remember I was like, "Hi," and she's like, "Can you do me a favor? Can you get me a job at your school?" And I was like, "You're seriously kidding me? I have not talked to you. I went through something horrible, and you said that you couldn't talk to me during this time because my anxiety brought your anxiety on. But now you want a job with me." So she got fired from her job that I left because it was during COVID and she got a virtual job while she's also virtual teaching at our school. So she had 2 jobs at once and told the job that we were at previously that she was on disability. So she's getting disability, full pay, and was working for this other school, was telling the other school she's on disability at COVID. So she was not working and she had 2 full-time jobs and was saying she had COVID and was on disability. Her cousin was a nurse. I think. And
Yeah, her
helped
cousin was a nurse.
helped her like forge the documents basically. And so the IRS came after her, New York Department of Labor came after her. She's like blacklisted from teaching in New York anymore.
But okay, so this is 2 separate teaching institutions.
Yes,
Why are there no checks and balances in
'Cause
place?
they're charter schools.
Okay, so they're like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Basically, it's basically the wild west because it's not like publicly, like what we said in the beginning, it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
publicly
it's-
funded, so they kind of march to their own beat.
Yeah.
But
So
there should be like an independent board that assesses, the
well, that's what the board
teaching
should
and
do.
the
But remember,
curriculum
Megan
and
went to the
whatnot.
board about Mr. Willy Wonka, and they did fuck all.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
So, but can we just go back at the gall of this woman
Yes.
to reach out to Megan, who has always been gainfully employed, and say, hey, by the way, I've been scamming disability.
Yes.
I've been
COVID
teaching at 2 different teaching jobs at the same time. And when they conflicted, I told the other one that I had COVID and have my cousin forge documents saying,
Oh, and her
I
cousin
had
got
COVID.
her cousin got her nursing license revoked because of this.
And then she
was it
decides,
me?
oh, Megan, she'll help me.
Yeah.
What are people thinking?
Literally no idea.
And she didn't even lead with like an apology to say like, hey, I've been thinking about it. Like what I did
think
was
it
really
helped
fucked
her,
up.
like-
Like I would at least, like if I wanted to manipulate someone or attempt to manipulate someone, I would at least butter them up for like a week
Right,
before I
do
lowered the
some
boom.
work. Yeah, do
You
some
know?
work about it.
There was no finesse. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, like they found out I'm fucked. Can you help me get a job?
It's so ham-handed. Like it's not thought through at all.
But I don't
Nicola,
think this
someone
woman
wants to
thinks
know
because
how
she's
you-
fucking drunk on Arbor Mist all the time. Whatever happened to Grimace? Do we have any stories of Grimace?
No, but I've seen too many naked photos of her.
No, for her birthday, for Grimace's birthday. Can you please tell me what you said about the one birthday that she was like fucking everyone off of Tinder?
I forgot about that. Okay, so she
This
would
is a teacher of elementary school children. Side note. Go ahead.
Yes.
Let's have
She
that little
would-
jammy.
She had like she called it a fetish, but I would call it more an appreciation. She would only have sex with someone or mess around with them if they had Timberland boots, the brown ones.
This is
with, like-
such a New York thing, the
with, like,
Timberland boots.
white- yeah, with like white tube socks. Basically, they had to keep it on during sex to have sex with her.
And she was a big
Big
woman.
girl.
Now,
And
let's
she-
not kink shame. That's not
She
a kind
was-
thing to do.
Right,
It's not
No.
kink
No.
But she
Nicola
would
and
literally-
Paul,
Off the rip.
was
she
like
would
a-
tell guys. Like people that weren't even like being like sexting her or anything like that. Like she would talk to people on Tinder and she's like, just so you know, if you have sex with me, you have to do you have a pair of Timberlands? Like would cut to the chase.
which I kind of respect. Okay, I respect.
Yeah.
But
But and they were like, what?
so on her birthday, before she came to school, right? She had like fucked 3 different guys off of Tinder with the Timberland boots and the white
Yes.
tube socks.
Yes.
And then wanted to continue that later on in the evening. All different
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
And I'm not slut shaming. Like I've done stupid shit in my life.
School,
Like
and then
that's the thing.
after.
It's like I can barely
Who has
function
the
first thing in
time?
the
Is
morning.
my question. Who has the time?
That's my point.
Who?
And I don't wake up and I don't think, let me have sex with 3 guys before school. And did they,
But they
was it
all
at
have
the
to
same
have
Hands
time?
on and tube socks.
Right.
You gotta sort that shit out first.
They have to have a specific shoe style, and they couldn't be like the dark Timberlands. They had to be the brown ones. You
Yeah.
know, with the
That's
black.
a very New York thing.
Yes.
It's the brown ones,
Also
all the
very
guys
specific.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
I-
but it's a very New York thing. Like a lot of guys, regardless of age, whatever.
wear them.
feel-
Yeah.
I feel
demographic.
like, circling back to our previous conversation, if you're in the gray sweatpants and you've got the brown Timberlands, we're like
It's
living our
that
best
is
life at this
exactly
point.
you nailed it.
Grimace is
yeah,
a
and especially if you had
happy,
like
funny
a flat brim, like a New Era hat.
Oh, she would cream herself. She lost her goddamn mind over these. I would see her, like, people talk about like guys
And usually
catcalling,
with the
which is horrible.
do-rag underneath, right?
Always the silky one too. So it's the
Yeah,
only kind
none of this polyester shit. Silk blend all the way, baby.
I mean, when I go to like the bodega around here, they have like the cotton ones that I'm just like, who's getting those? And that's why they stay there. And there's a model from like 1996 with it on. So
Yeah, no, only the best for Grimace.
I would see her catcall men. So I've never really seen a woman catcall a man. We would be in the South Bronx, like off of like
where that aesthetic is ripe.
Oh, it is right.
Every guy, like even 6-year-old kids would be wearing that.
Mm-hmm. And she would literally see like a construction worker or just a random guy with those, and she'd be like, "What are you doing later?" They'd be like, "Haha," and she'd be like, "No, really. Like, I'm going back to my house, guys. Don't come over. Come on." And she'd pull a guy and go to her house, literally in front of us, because he had him.
Let's go back to me saying like I always had a bad feeling about these people.
Yes, you did.
And turned out I was right.
You were right.
And it wasn't just the Scorpio possessiveness in me. It was because they were not great people.
They were terrible human beings.
And not for the sex thing. Not even about that. Just callous, non-empathetic, like just not nice people.
Yep.
Anyway.
No, horrible. Actually, horrible. Physically painful how bad.
And I would like bully Megan into saying I was right. I'd be like, who was right about Grimace and Miss A? And she'd be like, you were. Yeah, we're done. We were just chatting about our terrible animals that
all right. Thank you for joining us today. If you would like to share your story, we would love to hear from you.
Also, leaving a review helps us create more content because it shows us there's an interest in this topic.
For those of our listeners who do better with reading, we have closed caption available on YouTube.
See you next week, same time and same place.